Now to an emergency order from the Federal Aviation Administration Friday about hundreds of engines on Boeing aircraft. This comes after an engine blade blew apart on a Southwest flight Tuesday. One passenger died. CBS News transportation correspondent Kris Van Cleave is following this from our Washington bureau. Kris, what exactly are you hearing?
Well, Tanya, this is an emergency order from the FAA. It's a relatively rare move by the agency that's going to require airlines that have 737s that have had roughly 30,000 takeoff and landing cycles. That's one takeoff and one landing is a cycle. I have 30,000 of those to inspect the engines on those aircraft within 20 days. And basically, they're going to do what's called an ultrasonic inspection. And that's something like an ultrasound almost that gives them a way to see microscopic cracks or other signs of metal fatigue that may not be visible to the human eye that could cause a fan blade to break and come off in flight, as we've seen in two incidents on Southwest jets. The most recent one, of course, Tuesday, that turned deadly. Now, this order affects somewhere in the vicinity of 175 airplanes in the U.S., about 340 worldwide. And really, this order is targeted at airlines like Southwest that heavily use their airplanes on a daily basis. So they've got a lot of those takeoff and landing cycles. For a Southwest plane that may be affected by this in the ballpark would be 12 to 13 years or older. And then they're now going to need to inspect all of those planes in the next 20 days, looking for signs of metal fatigue if they find that they need to fix it immediately.
Kris, as you say, this is a widely used plane. How concerned should any passenger be about boarding a 737?
Yeah, the 737 is exceptionally common. This obviously is a small number of the 737s that are out there, but I wouldn't have an issue boarding a 737 tonight. This is an urgent need that the FAA has identified, but it is not such a danger that the agency or any of the safety experts I've talked to believe these planes need to be grounded or taken out of service immediately. They do, however, need to have this check done.
And Kris, since it is such a large number of planes, do you expect airlines to reduce service in order to perform all of these inspections?
The inspections take about 4 hours an engine. The belief is, at least industry insiders are telling me, they think that the airlines will be able to do this in 20 days without disrupting passenger travel. Most airlines have some planes in reserve, so if they have to swap one out, they can do that. But mostly you'll be looking at these happening in overnight hours when a plane would be on the ground somewhere anyway. But the belief is that it can be done with minimal disruption to flyers.
Well, I, for one, feel better that they are doing the inspections. Kris Van Cleave, thank you for that.
Sure thing.